From your niece to your grandma, it seems everyone is using social networking these days.
But thanks to sites like Facebook, it's now a lot easier for the bad guys to gain your trust and creep their ways into your lives. So would you know what to do if your computer got hacked?
Angela joins us now with a closer look at this morning's scenario. Angela.
Yes, hackers unfortunately are just kind of part of life these days. And with so many of us plugged in, it's much easier for them to steal passwords, account information, and even your identity. But there are ways to ward them off, even spot some of their tricks before they infect your computer. So if you were approached by a hacker online or got suckered in somehow, what would you do?
This happened 3 times to us in the last 10 years.
Haven't been in that position. I'm pretty good about maintaining security, but I would be in trouble like everybody else.
We had to do everything over again. Credit cards, bank cards, you name it.
What would I do? I don't know. Take it somewhere. Or I don't know what I'd do. That's a good question. I have no idea.
But Jason Glassberg and Chris Weber, co-founders of Casaba Security, say you need to get a clue. 2011 is already being called the year of the hacker.
I think we're going to see a lot more hacking activity around smartphones and devices.
From old-fashioned phishing to something called smishing.
Which are targeted toward mobile phones, smartphones. And this is where you get an SMS message from a friend, or it looks like a friend, or from AT&T or Verizon, and it says click this link.
Or how about this? Hackers who've been having fun hijacking your Facebook profile and passwords.
And as they might open a chat box and say, hey Chris, check out this cool link.
Now, I'll admit, this has happened to me and a bunch of people I know. No wonder when you see how easy it is for Chris to make a phony profile.
So I'm going to click on it. All right, it's from Angela, I trust that. And if I do, then I probably just installed malicious software on my computer. Now it's a question of whether or not the antivirus vendors are going to pick up on that.
But in case your computer or smartphone doesn't pick up on this trick, Chris says there are a few you can use to spot a hacker.
A funny thing about phishing pages is there's quite often spelling mistakes. And I don't know if that's because English isn't always the native language of the people creating these pages.
Chris also says the header on a site may be pushed down or seem out of place somehow. If that's the case, leave the link alone. Another thing to be on the lookout for, something called spoofing.
In this case, the spoof is something that looks like a slash, but it's not really a slash.
Spoofing is where hackers use symbols and characters from a foreign alphabet that look almost exactly like ours, but mean something totally different.
See that special character right here? This one, I'm going to put a real slash next to it, and now maybe you'll see the difference.
So Chris and Jason say, pay attention to those URLs, especially the tiny or shortened ones. They really hide those spoofs well. Also, run your antivirus and keep your web browsers up to date. And your guard? Yeah, keep that up too.
There's no question that there will probably be an increase in those kinds of attacks because there's an increase in the usage of the web, and it's hot, and it's, what everyone's talking about right now.
So if you do get hacked, you need to run your antivirus and reset your passwords. Also watch for suspicious activity on your bank and credit card statements. If you see someone is using your accounts, call your creditors and ask for a fraud alert. Also, depending on what was stolen, you may also have to call the police. But one thing Jason Glassberg suggests, if you do any shopping online, just use one credit card for those purchases and make sure it's a credit, not a debit card. Credit cards have more protections against fraud built right into them. And finally, when it comes to those Facebook accounts, be wary of who you befriend. Be careful what information you put on your page. Jason highly suggests you not list the email account you use the most. Instead, create a secondary one. That way, anyone who's trying to nab you and your information off of Facebook does not gain access to your primary email account. For more information on this story, go to Q13Fox.com, click on the News tab, and scroll over to What Would You Do?
All right, Angela, good information there.